Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to this webinar brought to you by Autocar Professional and powered by Autodesk on the topic Future Disruptions in Automotive Design with Autodesk Studio Tools. In the last few years, there has been a drastic change in automotive design, largely driven by two main factors, climate change concerns and consumer behavior. A stronger push for greener vehicles, fueled by technological advancements, has created a new category for consumers that is redefining traditional vehicle aesthetics. Similarly, forces linked to the ever-changing consumer aspirations and behavior, largely driven by factors like rapid urbanization, rise in disposable incomes, digital and social awareness, as well as unexpected events like the COVID-19 pandemic, are already impacting automotive design. This change in vehicle design is expanding into the realm of automotive design tools as well, which is advancing swiftly with numerous disruptive trends poised to influence the future of car design. Over the course of the next 1 hour, this session will look at how certain disruptions in the traditional automotive design approaches have the potential to shape the future of mobility and challenge conformist styling concepts. We will also look at how Autodesk tools like Alias and VRED software continue to stay relevant in this overall transition. Good afternoon, my name is Mayank Dhingra, your moderator for today's session, and I would now like to invite Mr. Samarth Gupta, Industrial Design Specialist, Autodesk. Mr. Gupta has been working as an industrial design specialist at Autodesk for more than 12 years. After completing his BTech and MDes in industrial design from IIT Delhi, he acquired 10 years of robust professional experience working within the design studios of various automotive OEMs in India like Mahindra Trucks, General Motors, and Hero MotoCorp, where he had first stint with Autodesk Digital Tools. At Autodesk, he has been spearheading the business efforts in India, ASEAN, and ANZ regions by working closely with various design studios and introducing them to the latest technologies and software tools, helping them accelerate and streamline their design workflows, reducing time to market, and giving their customers a completely new brand experience. In recent times, Mr. Gupta has been actively involved in advocating the need to reconfigure Autodesk messaging in the automotive space to align with the industry's ongoing and potential disruptions by forces linked to climate change mitigation efforts, as well as changing consumer aspirations due to societal changes, and how Autodesk can provide value in the entire design process. He has wide areas of professional interest, including design thinking, sustainability, future of mobility, and likes coaching and sharing his knowledge with his peers. Mr. Gupta, welcome and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mayank. Thanks for having me.
So before we move to your presentation, we have a quick fireside session chat on questions relevant to today's subject, which is future disruptions in automotive design with Autodesk Studio Tools. So I would like to ask you, Mr. Gupta, what are the factors influencing the radical shift in design languages of major OEMs across vehicle categories?
Yeah, so Mayank, I think some of it actually you have already mentioned. So in the last few years, we have been witnessing automotive design undergoing a sea change. And to my mind, it's largely driven by climate change concerns and consumer behavior. Even if you see some of the models on Indian roads from the same manufacturer, the EV version is different from their ICE version. When I say ICE, it is internal combustion engine. Because the EV architecture is very different, which gives designers new areas to explore, and it actually makes them more creative. At the same time, the trends that we are also seeing is that since around uh, 5 billion people worldwide actually live in cities, there is a radical shift from owning a personal transport to sharing the transport. So, like for example, the ride sharing cars or the ride sharing vehicles are already gaining a lot of traction, a lot of importance today in our life, and design is going to influence that. So the design of the vehicles in the future, and it's already started happening, if not in India, in other geos, the aesthetics, the improved visibility, the improved inside space, all these factors are already influencing the way we use mobility. At the same time, we have also seen, Mayank, that the COVID pandemic actually had a lot of potential to impact vehicle design. So after COVID pandemic, the world saw increased sales of SUVs. So why people suddenly started buying SUVs? Because they felt that SUVs are more safe. They thought that, if they are inside SUV, they are indestructible. And that actually helped designers and OEMs to focus more on designing new SUVs, which can actually give their consumers a more cocoon effect, where they are all surrounded by a lot of safety features. So the possibilities are limitless, and the ever-changing factors are continuously impacting vehicle design.
Absolutely. That's a very great insight, Mr. Gupta, that, after COVID, we've been seeing this sort of a sudden
Yeah,
boom in the sales of SUVs. And like you mentioned, so this is sort of a behavioral perception as well, that a booch looking car is supposedly more safer,
yeah,
and that is the reason
absolutely.
why the sales of SUVs are sort of on the rise
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
Right. Right. And in terms of technology, Mr. Gupta, so how is technology sort of playing a role in catering to the dynamic requirements of the market and the ever-changing consumer preferences? Like in this case, you mentioned SUVs, which
Yeah.
is sort of a very recent trend in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so Mayank, the EV is disrupting the mobility landscape. There are already some of the areas where OEMs have explored and identified where the entire system has been disrupted, like the way vehicles are getting designed, the way vehicles are getting sold, and the way vehicles are getting used. All these areas have been disrupted by technology. I'll give you some examples. The first example, which I also talked in my previous question, was the EV architecture. So, in an electric mobility, in electric vehicle, the bulk bulky IC engine has been removed. It has been taken out of the equation, which means that there is a lot of opportunity for designers to be creative. And when the designers are creative, they also would demand tools and technology, which where they can rapidly do some designs or show their creativity to the decision makers. And that is where Autodesk comes into picture, and that is where the technology comes into picture. Another a very interesting trend that we have been seeing, and I'll be actually discussing in my presentation also, is that more and more companies are also exploring new business models. So, like gone are the days when a vehicle is a vehicle. Now, a vehicle is actually catering to multiple, use areas or usage requirements of consumers, and that is where these platform approaches are gaining traction. So we have a customer, and I'll be sharing the details, where he was able to create a more scalable, flexible, and performance driven platform chassis, which could actually suit each customer's specific needs. And he could do that by leveraging the AI powered generative design solutions, which I'm going to again talk in my presentation. So such disruptions have a potential to definitely change the way we commute every day to the office or to the market or to the friend place. And there is a lot of opportunities ahead of us. Another very interesting point which can actually be leveraged by OEMs is that in the future, if you look at the future, the vehicles would cease to remain as vehicles, and they'll be like rather considered as recreational spaces, because a vehicle could be a vehicle in during the daytime, and in the evening it could be used as a recreational space to have some sort of entertainment with friends or family, and they could actually become oases of entertainment, oases of somewhere you can be. It can give you a calming experience and get away from the usual humdrum of life, and that is where a lot of technology could come into picture. So a lot of experiences can be instilled or can be injected into that space, and that is where there is a lot of opportunity. And definitely, as I said, that the possibilities are unlimited.
Right. So the future clearly beholds a lot of exciting things,
Yeah,
like you just mentioned. And I would like you to, do some crystal ball gazing here for us. What are some of the key trends in automotive globally that we can see
mm,
over the coming few years in terms of product design, aesthetics,
yeah,
that according to you are the key, things to look out for in the coming years.
yeah. Great question, man. Great question. So yes, Some of the factors, some of the things that we are already witnessing is that, today we have resources, but tomorrow it might happen that, there could be a situation where there is a tremendous resource scarcity. And if that happens, we need to find ways to sustain ourselves, sustain our mobility landscape, sustain our life. And in this context, more human-driven design for more human design would get inspiration from nature, because the designs which are thrown by nature are naturally sustainable. So this can actually work in designers' favor, as they can mimic nature to express their deep appreciation and connection to the elements which are present in the natural world. We are already seeing that, like for example, the way aeroplanes are designed. They are all taking inspiration from nature. But in the future, what I see is that the design elements can also take a lot of inspiration from nature. And I'll also share some of the examples during my presentation where, some of these designs would be shared. Another trend that can come, Mayank, and this is something very interesting, is that today we consume a lot. So we buy a car today and we, start looking for a new car every 3 years or 5 years. But maybe in the future, this trend might change. So people might think that, let's go with the same car for the next 20 years. So if that happens, the designers would be like given that task to ensure that the design, the vehicle aesthetics remain sustainable for a longer time, so that the car that you bought 20 years before still looks relevant to you today, which means that the designer had created that car or designed that car in such a manner that it remained relevant even today. So that is actually a challenge, and at the same time opportunity for designers. Again, I'm going to talk and going to stress on this point in my presentation also, is that today we talk of one size fits all approach, global cars. But if you see the way society is moving, and the way we are actually behaving as nations, as as people, the supply chains are actually constantly getting disrupted. I mean, due to COVID or due to regional conflicts and so on and so forth. And this can give rise to more vehicles or more designs made for region specific culture. So gone are the days that you will depend on some other the design language of some other country or some other culture or some other geo to get infused in your culture. Tomorrow's consumers may ask for a very regional specific cars, and that is where a lot of OEMs can play a very important role to take this trend forward.
Very interesting, Mr. Gupta, and I'm very much intrigued by whatever comments that you've made so far in terms of how design is going to act as a critical player in terms of ensuring sustainability, functionality, as well as inducing some personalization of mobility tools in the transportation sector going forward. So with that, I would let you to take over and take us through your presentation. But before that, just a note for our audience, for our attendees. You could please type in your questions in the Q&A box, and we would try and take them up with Mr. Gupta towards the end of the presentation. Mr. Gupta, over to you, please.
Thank you, Mayank. So I'll just start sharing my screen. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, good to go.
So I think we have already discussed the topic. So let's just the safe harbor statement just before the presentation. Okay. So these are some of the industry trends that we are already started witnessing now and in the next 5 years. So autonomous, connected cars, electric, and shared. And so why are we experiencing this disruption? So we actually had a small conversation about that, but I reckon the following factors are contributing to this disruption. Climate change is one of the very, very important factors because of the greenhouse gases, which are making the earth warmer, which actually are melting the polar ice caps, and this is actually creating a lot of issues. Then rise in urban population is also a big factor, because more and more people are migrating to cities. Some studies indicate that there will be like 5 billion people, middle class people living in cities in the near future, and such people will have a huge impact on the society, and this will drive the consumer behavior. And again, the geopolitical factors continuously are impacting the way we consume technology, products, vehicles, everything. And this is going to remain like that. So we'll be like putting extra challenge and extra, definitely it will provide more opportunities uh, to companies to ensure that they mitigate all these risks. So some of the whys will lead to some of the whats, that what are the trends we foresee in the future. So climate change would lead to push for mitigation efforts. So as you could see that governments around the globe, I mean the nations are giving more incentives. They are uh, providing some tax stops to the organizations, to the companies, to make their employees buy electric vehicles just to promote clean mobility. And this is very important because the government is actually participating in ensuring that the population start using a technology or start using vehicles which are not polluting. A rise in urban population definitely would lead to rise in consumption patterns. And I discussed some of the things in my previous talk, but I just like to say that the desire to own a personal vehicle would continue, because more and more people would demand a personal vehicle, because it for to them it is like an expression of freedom and personality. So we talk of a lot of things, but the personal vehicles will remain. The desire for personal vehicles will remain as. Then geopolitical factors are definitely very, very important, because every nation would like to stay ahead of the curve. They would like to own the solutions for clean mobility, because this is going to be very, very important going forward. But at the same time, it has the potential to create supply chain disruptions, which can also lead to many, many problems. But at the same time, OEMs need to find ways to get around it. Then COVID pandemic, we have all seen, we have experienced that time. But at the same time, one good thing which happened during COVID was that we started to embrace technology. We started to find new ways to adopt technology. There were like new things which actually came up. The new business models came up, and that actually helped us. That actually prepared us for the future, so that if even if a technology is given to us in the future, we'll be able to embrace it very, very quickly. So let's discuss these trends quickly. So I'm sorry. So definitely, climate change is very important. We have seen a lot of increased government push, and the government is trying to create that organic growth, so that more and more people start buying clean cars, which has no tailpipe pollution. Then urban population is also very important. Is going to be very important, because more and more consumers will buy cars, will buy vehicles, but at the same time, brand loyalty will remain at the forefront of every OEM, because if there are one OEM, it's one manufacturer today, that tomorrow like more manufacturers, so competition would be increased. But at the same time, localized uh, cultures may become very important, because cities, as they become big, they can actually become microcosm of local cultures, and that would be more demanding for OEM to create vehicles which can appeal to that set of customers, or that set of people. Autonomous driving is something that we have been talking for a very long time, but we are still not there, because of so many reasons, because of so many technological advances, that it still needs to be at par with the human driving experience. But still, I would say that in the future we would very soon see autonomous driving as a system, as a mobility system in cities. But at the same time, what we also need to see, and what we also need to understand, is that going forward, the consumer behaviors would also change, because Gone are the days when consumers are just told to buy this and they would quietly and simply buy that product. Today, the customers are self-actualized. They have unique set of expectations and unique set of demands. And this is going to be very challenging because now people, more and more people, because of the social media or because of the awareness, they have started to challenge the status quo. They are starting to challenge the things which previously remained unchallenged, and they have their unique ideology, and they want to participate in anything which can lead to a social revolution or do good for everyone. So in that sense, it would be really a Herculean task for organizations or for OEMs to create vehicles or products which appeal to them. So it might be like, it might sound like I'm condescending, but these are some of the things that are there. I mean, it's there. Like some of the small cars have been very, very successful. Some of the small cars which are like which have really did a lot of business because they appeal to young people. Some of the best-selling cars, maybe electric or ICE-based cars, because it provided a sense of personality and a sense of private space. Then I'll be also discussing later about truck designs, because truck designs, they are expression of identity. Can
उन लोग का
someone go on mute,
लोग
please?
का डिटेल डाल के लॉग इन कर
I
समझा
think there's
पाएंगे
some noise.
पर शुरू कैसे करेंगे भाई
So
Yes, Mr. Gupta. Yeah.
yeah. So due to these changes, OEMs would start exploring more radical designs, and there will be like a lot of exciting times ahead that we could see. Again, COVID pandemic, as I said very clearly in my previous talk, that working remotely, all these trends, they started during the COVID times, and we actually learned how to leverage technology. We could find ways to uh, adopt new technologies, which previously we thought that it's very difficult, and we started to consume more digital content. So rather than going to a shop to buy stuff, we would rather buy through the online platforms, shopping platforms. In fact, food, we previously we thought that food has to be consumed by going to a restaurant, but now we are actually sitting at our homes and ordering food. So all these trends, all these changes in our social behavior is definitely going to greatly impact the way a vehicle is going to be designed. Supply chain disruptions, definitely they have a lot of potential to impact the vehicle designs, and some of the reasons I've already shared, because local cultures would be like valued more, because you cannot get something from some other geo, so you would like to prepare, design, conceptualize, and manufacture locally. So that is something which is already happening and continue to happen. So that brings me to the first poll question. So I would pass on to the Autocar for the first poll question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gupta. So I will take the first poll question to the audience. What megatrends are transforming global automotive design? Electric vehicles, autonomous driving, software-defined vehicles, connectivity, and lastly, shared mobility. So we have around 30 to 40 seconds for you to key in your answer for this question, and then we proceed further with the presentation. What megatrends are transforming global automotive design? Okay, here are the answers. So EVs by far is the most widely accepted phenomena that the audience believes is giving a transformation to global automotive design, followed by autonomous driving, very little margin between autonomous and SDVs, and then connectivity and shared mobility. So with that, Mr. Gupta, I'll just hand it back over to you to proceed
Sure,
further with the
sure,
presentation.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So we discussed about the what, uh, and now we'll be actually, discussing about that how the companies are going to embrace these changes to stay ahead of the curve. So we broadly we can see the contribution of technology and Autodesk in three main areas by the trends that we discussed so far. So we just discussed the what part, and now we are we are going to discuss the how part. So the way vehicles would be designed, the way vehicles would be sold, and the way vehicles would be used. So all these would see a lot of contribution from Autodesk. So let's discuss these points one by one. So the way vehicles would be designed, definitely it's going to be disrupted. With EVs, the design rulebook itself is has been rewritten because the the bulky ICE engine or bulky internal combustion engine has been removed from the equation completely, and it has completely changed things for designers. Now the new electric motor gives a lot of room for designers to reinvent the shape and also utilize the space that is available to them, because most of the components are thrown into the corners, which also gives a lot of room for the interior space. So all the other elements like power transmission, cooling, fuel tank, mechanical components have been actually removed because of this EV architecture. So that actually gives a lot of opportunity. So this is just an expression of how the vehicles, and this is not that something that we are designing, but something that we just think that it's there. So you can see that this vehicle has a lot of room. In fact, sorry, just yeah. So I'll just push forward. Yeah, so with the new EV platforms, since I said that the number of components have been reduced, number of mechanical components have been reduced, and most of the remaining components are pushed into the corners. It actually frees up a lot of space, and that uh, uh, gives a lot of space inside and reduces the vehicle footprint. And this, enables or gives an opportunity for designers to focus on the interior as well. Uh, so you can see that right now, whatever electric vehicles are there in the market and whatever electric vehicles are going to get launched in the near future, they are they have a very distinctive, they have very distinct aesthetic features or aesthetic elements, because the OEMs themselves want to differentiate the EV vehicle from the ICE vehicle from the same family. Like some of the trends that we are seeing is that very sharp corners, something which looks very futuristic, something which is akin to space shape or something to do with space. I'm not exactly, astronaut or something to do with that, but they just want to make or excite the consumers in such a way that you are participating in something which is futuristic. So all these EVs in general becomes an expression of the future vision or the future vehicles by an OEM. Because according to OEM also, every EV that they design is actually giving a very distinct identity to their brand values or their brand identity. So that is why there is a lot of opportunity for designers to play around this. And some of the examples, the same model, but different areas I've actually shared on this slide. Another area which is very sorry. Another area where it's very obvious is that electric motors, they have a very different cooling requirements. So their cooling requirements is not similar to the ICE based cars or ICE based vehicles. So the space traditionally, which was occupied by the radiator, it gets freed up. So that's why you could see that some of the new EVs that are coming, the front, there is no, the bonnet is there, but there is no engine. So you can actually put your stuff there. There is a lot of creative ideas that could be explored. Then again, since there is no grill, the front fascia becomes like a like a drawing board for designers. So they can actually paint the picture like an open canvas, whatever they want to do, and they would like to give a very distinctive look or very futuristic look and very different uh, sort of look and feel to the car, to the electric vehicle in the front. And you could see some of the cars from the same family. They look very different because they have a very different front fascia. They have a very different look. Uh, and as I also mentioned in my initial conversation fireside chat, that the future would see a tremendous resource scarcity because uh, today we are consuming a lot of lot of materials, a lot of elements, or lot of stuff which is provided to us by Mother Earth. But tomorrow, I mean, these are finite things, and at some point in time, we won't be able to access them because the resources would be depleted. So we need to find there could be a time where we need to actually find ways to sustain this mobility objects, and the way we provide a lot of hope to others, because such times we need to ensure that people also consume vehicles in a way, in a manner which actually gives a lot of hope for the coming years. So in this context, we see that a lot of nature-inspired design would take center seat. So designers might get or might involve or might include some of the natural design into their aesthetics, into their vehicle aesthetics. And the way this can happen is definitely through technology, and I'm going to discuss that. But this can also help in multiple ways because it definitely gives a very soothing, calming effect. At the same time, it also is a sort of a way to respect Mother Nature and provide hope to others. But at the same time, it also helps to create differentiation. It also helps to maintain their maintain the brand loyalty of their loyal customers. So all these trends we can actually see going forward. And in this regard, Autodesk can really help because the application of biomimicry in the vehicle designs would be to create graphic texture, the graphic elements in the interior. So the exteriors also you can do, but in the interiors there is a lot of opportunity. Like for example, the door trims or the vehicle trims, the dashboard, the anything which you actually touch and feel when you sit inside the car. Because what we understand after COVID is that OEMs are putting more efforts to design cars which are centered not around the product but around the user. So the user is at the center, and then everything actually is designed around him. So taking inspiration, we would be able to see, and this trend is already there. So it is not that this is a futuristic trend. This trend is already underway, and many OEMs are using bold and jazzy colors to reflect the cultural moorings of their target users, and anything that elevates the intrinsic value of their brand. So this is very exciting. And we have tools to support this. So one example of how Autodesk sees value in this space is the way it provides technology or the way it provides tools to designers to explore more complex designs. So most of the designs that you saw were like quite complex, but they are actually more parametric design. So there are certain technologies available within our tools, which is Alias, where the complex designs could be achieved through the application of rule of algorithm. So it is not that you have to sit and design those patterns. Those patterns will be actually given to to the designers in form of some algorithms or some scripts, and those scripts can be called in while you are doing your vehicle design or surface design, and those scripts can actually enable those parametric designs to be incorporated into your design. So this tool which I actually have shown you is a Dynamo tool, which works. It's an open source visual programming, and it also works with other technologies from Autodesk, not just for Alias, but it is a computational design tool where designers can create scripts, or we don't expect designers to create scripts because it's like someone else's job. Designers are more creative, so they can use or utilize the scripts which are already written to create parametric design. Some of the very impactful designs have been created using these computational design technology. And what we could also see, and this is also one of the things that we have already seen, that too much of technology sometimes can overwhelm the aesthetics, of any mobility object. So if you just put a lot of technology, a lot of machines, a lot of components, many would think that it looks very mundane, very basic, and very simple. But if you try to make it organic, if the future might be that customers want to experience something which is very different and very organic, uh, very chaotic. So sometimes we don't like chaos, but sometimes we like chaos because chaos can create some interest in your life. So at the same time, what we could also do is that we ensure that such designs could be there, but at the same time, they are flexible and functional. So this is one example where it's like one of our users of our technology created this platform where they leveraged Autodesk generative design technology, where it is like a rule based thing that you just provide the end result, the values that you desire, and the software would automatically create those values for you. So in this case, if the chassis has to be reduced in weight, you just key in those values, and if you really want to use a particular set of manufacturing process, you just feed that information to the technology, to the software, to the application, and the application will throw like many results which can be easily represent the best or the best result that the software can give you, and then you can take that result, you can choose the result, and you can take that result which is functionally and aesthetically viable, and you can actually work on it. So this is one of the I would say one of the use cases that has been published on our website. This is like Pix Moving, this is a company, and the Pix Moving actually uh, they created a scalable and flexible vehicle platform, which is known as PixBot. And this PixBot is not just for cars. It could be actually, you can actually put anything. So it it only sells the chassis, and it can suit various customers, because some customers would like to create a racing car, some customers would like to create a bus, some would like to create a small people mover. Like, so the possibilities are unlimited, but the flexibility that the solution could provide to the OEM is like mind-boggling. And this is something which is quite successful in terms of how we can actually foresee, or how we can crystal ball gaze to the next in the next phase. One of the things that I also mentioned is that even if AI, so everyone nowadays is talking of artificial intelligence, and you might have seen that you just have a lot of tools and applications which are available. Just by pressing few buttons, you get some results. So even if AI gets too advanced in the future, it might not be able to capture the subjective notions of beauty and aesthetics, because beauty and aesthetics is very subjective and very personal. So something which you you like, it might happen that it might not be liked by the other person. So, and beauty and aesthetics are the like one of the primary driving uh, what you call primary drivers of the buying decision of customers. So I would say that, OEMs of the future and OEMs today, they will not compromise on the vehicle aesthetics. And definitely, as I mentioned before, also that, with the growing pressure on the natural resources, the energy which is required to manufacture these cars or these products, and increased government regulation. Because sometimes what happens is that even if you're doing all the right things, if you're ticking all the boxes, there are some government regulations which can actually make or break your entire design model. So you have to be also cognizant and keep a close watch on how the government regulations and how the policy is being formed in your respective geos. And so the the whole the whole idea of me telling you all this is that it might happen that in the future, OEMs might like to adopt or embrace this concept of sustainable aesthetics to their mobility objects, which is easy on eyes, which is instantly familiar, but which would remain with the user for a longer duration of time, so that it saves the effort of everyone to again dump the vehicle, restart the whole design process, and so on and so forth. Because at the same time, it is very difficult to do this, because it's very difficult to create a sort of a design which is one size fits all. But this is also one of the trends that we might see, because the buying decisions can directly impact the greenhouse emission going forward. So we have in our software, which is Alias, which is like the industry standard solution, and it's definitely going to stay relevant, because the development of exterior skin would again, remain very, very critical and very important for the decision making process. So it directly influences the buying decision. So investment in creating that quality of surface would definitely remain high, and OEMs can continue to charge premium on the product, which definitely would uh, increase their profit per vehicle margins. So, though Alias is an incumbent tool, we are not just sitting tight. We are developing the software every quarter. We are taking all the feedback from the studios globally, and wherever it's required to add more functionalities, or help the users to make their workflows faster, we are actually doing that going forward. So now that brings me to poll question number 2. So over to you, Autocar.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Gupta. So the the second poll question is, what are the areas in your design workflow where Autodesk can help your teams with? The five options: concept design, generative design, class A, design visualization, and POS. What are the areas in your design workflow where Autodesk can help with your teams with? Can we have the results, please? Okay, so concept design and design visualization are the two leading areas where people think they are being aided by Autodesk tools. Mr. Gupta, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayank. Okay, so yeah. So we discussed about the way we can help, Autodesk can help in the design. Now we are going to discuss about the way they would be sold, the products would be sold. And what we see that the future actually belongs to definitely automotive OEMs, the suppliers, the new entrants, tech players, venture capitalists, and everyone would like to, get themselves, available, or get themselves be part of this journey, this EV journey. But what eventually would happen is that there would be increased competition in the mobility market, and everyone would, strive to build brand loyalty and stay ahead of the competition and try to make more money and stay relevant. So apart from the product differentiation in terms of aesthetics, so one is that you take the product to the point of sale and just sell it. But at the same time, the way those products would be sold to the consumers, to the customers, might also change because, as I also talked in my previous few slides, that we are actually assuming that the future customers would be very finicky, and the customers of the future may not like to be pampered or cajoled to make a purchase. They might really want to participate in the entire sales journey. They want to experience the technologies on their own. So they would consider this entire sales journey as a joyride rather than just some salesman telling them to buy this or that. So I would say that there will be a lot of opportunities in this space, a lot of areas where technology would play a pivotal role in making these things work. And in that regard, I would what would like to talk about the way vehicles are being designed even today. So, for example, we already know about the augmented reality and virtual reality technologies, but with this new extended reality technologies that are now made available to us, it's like one step towards merging the virtual and the real world together. So if you see this video, the car is actually virtual. This red car is actually virtual, but everything else is real. So the person is real, the shop floor, the play studio is real, the entire thing is real. That was not, before. Before, either you are in virtual world or you are in real world. So with extended reality, the two realities have actually merged. So though presently this technology is only used in the design space, but what I reckon that the days and far when such experiences would become normal and will become inseparable part of the vehicle design process, because customers would like to check everything digitally, even if not physically, but they would like to check everything digitally because digital models give more opportunities to explore more variants. So that is where the future, there is a lot of promise which lies ahead. And definitely just continue to be part of this is that now technology is very limited to a certain set of people, but going forward, it might happen that technology may be democratized. So it is already there with our VRED set of tools. We have certain modules within our technology where you could actually deliver advanced renderings through server-based solutions, either on cloud or local server. And this can be actually made available through cloud API, and it could be streamed to any device, either mobile or a laptop or any other maybe a virtual reality session. So this can actually eliminate a lot of repetitive tasks, and you don't need to be a VRED expert or a visualization expert to do that, because if you have already written certain scripts already fed to the machine, to the entire system, the uh, all the backend work can be handled by the machines, by the servers, and the final result, which is the rendering, could be thrown or could be given to the consumers who is about to make an informed decision. So the collaboration, the decision making can be like streamlined and can be actually create a lot of value to the OEMs. So let's talk about how the vehicles would be used and how Autodesk could help uh, in this space. So again, I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but we are already seeing that customers are getting a lot of finicky. They have very unique set of expectations, and this is going to be very, very challenging. So this one size fits all approach might be shunned, and the customer's unique experiences and demands could be valued. And you can see, and some of the pictures, very colorful pictures, but some of the pictures actually they depict a story. Like, for example, on the right side, this is a truck from somewhere in India. you could see the type of embellishments, type of decorations that the truck driver has made. This is not a standard truck from the OEM, but the OEM only sells the chassis. But the truck fleet owner or the truck driver has created, these embellishments to suit his personal needs, because he wants to capture, some value out of that truck for himself. He want to create a sort of a space for himself, because he has to spend maybe 20 hours out of 24 hours in that truck on long drives. So local craftsmanship would come into picture, and we need to have those contextual themes to be realized through local craftsmen. So manufacturers of tomorrow, I mean, manufacturers today have still, they are thinking about it, but I think in the future they could think of sort of a business model where they could allow the users or the consumers to co-create elements or to participate in the design journey. Some of the things that they could, try to, give them an opportunity to design something in free form, something, which can be made easily available to them, so that their needs and their requirements and their aesthetic requirements and their aspirations could be captured much easily. So these are, some of the tools that we already have to capture the design intent. Like for example, if you get some something from the market, by doing an auto clinic, you could actually do something very quickly going forward. I discussed a bit about generative design, but generative design actually helps the automotive companies to design a multitude of design solutions based on goals and constraints. And one the one part of it talks about the functionality, which is the optimization of the present component. But another thing which also gives a lot of which gives a lot of benefit to the users is the elusive right feel. Because if you have a swing arm which looks very organic and very futuristic, it tries to create that sort of differentiation. Again, this is not something which can be mass produced. This is actually generated using our technology, generative design technology in Fusion. But at the same time, this was manufactured using 3D printing. So 3D printing yet is not mass produced. This is just for a limited set of uh, components, but definitely it has the potential to create a lot of personalization for the vehicle. And just to just 2 3 points more, and then I'll be opening for Q&A. So as we see that tomorrow, as I said, that there'll be like 5 billion people living in cities. Definitely the cities would be choked. There'll be like overcrowded cities. There'll be like less space, and there could be a scenario where you don't have any houses to live in. I mean, not you, but I mean the future scenario could be such. So it could happen that more and more people would like to spend time in their mobility objects. So right now, I'm not calling it a car because it might cease to exist as a car. It might be called as a mobility object where you could double up as a living capsule. You could have some evening story or an evening get together with friends in your mobility object. As I said before, that electric uh, vehicles, give an opportunity for you to have more space inside, and with a less footprint on the ground. So which means that you can utilize that space to create, say, sort of a table, and you can have drinks together, or you can eat together or have coffee together. So all these opportunities are with the customer. So the interior spaces, the design of interior spaces would be very, very important. And in this regard, we have technologies to support. So in our visualization technologies, we will actually be able to, on the right side, if you see the right hand video, there are certain uh, you know the certain upholstery which can be actually put. You can create a lot of animations. You can create how to do certain operations in the digital format. So all these technologies would help designers to design the vehicle of the future. And yes, again, going back, I think autonomous is something that everyone is talking, but I really don't know when it's going to be, practically adopted. But till such a time, you have an opportunity to, get rid of your entire dashboard. So the dashboard could be actually somewhere, and you have more space, more interior space, and the interior space could actually, double up as an oasis of entertainment and recreation, where you could just, relax and watch a movie or, hear some music and consume a lot of digital content. So in that regard, you will have a lot of, opportunities. So, in terms of the experience, we have our solutions actually is already supporting surrounding technologies like the content which gets generated in Qt Studio can be utilized to create those UX and UI graphic components. You can actually use them. You can create them in other software, but you can import them and use within VRET. Then the lighting also, provides a very, very good opportunity to create that experience. So realistic lights which actually, they create or change the mood. So all these, things can become very important. And our solution, our visualization solution, VRED, supports physically based accurate light uh, to affect this. So in future there's a lot of opportunity. Some of these things are already happening, if not in our geo, but in other parts of the world. But soon these things would come into our uh, daily usage of mobility objects. So that concludes my presentation, Mayank, and I'll ask you to take the next poll question. Yeah.
Sure. So the final poll question, do you use any Autodesk solution to design vehicles? If yes, please mention. The options are Fusion, VRED, Alias, Maya, none of the above. Do you use any Autodesk solution to design vehicles? Okay, and with that, Mr. Gupta, thank you very much for a lovely, insightful, and quite a detailed presentation, giving us an overview about how what we could expect in the future in terms of automotive design, both from an aesthetic point of view, from the outside as well as the inside. Even in your last slide, you also mentioned about how lighting is going to play a critical role in defining the mood of the cabin and the in cabin aesthetics and the ambience. So with that, we'll now take some quick questions from the audience. And the first question is, how will the usage of Autodesk tools be different for EVs compared to traditional ICE vehicles?
Oh, yes, yes. That is a very natural question. So, so I think I've already shared one of the use cases in one of my slides, like the front grille, because the ICE engines, they used to have those bulky engines in the front, but electric vehicles, because of these electric motors, they are actually pushed on the sides, and the way the whole electric vehicle is packaged, you don't need a cooling requirement in the front. So there is no radiator in the front. So you have a lot of space in the front. At the same time, the front fascia is out and open. You can actually design whatever you want to do. So in that sense, the designers are already creating a lot of patterns, a lot of parametric patterns in the front grille to give an impression of maybe something which has to do with the brand image of that company, or something which is like inspired from nature. So there is a lot of opportunity there.
Okay. Next question, can you give an example of nature-based inspiration of automotive design in the context of future of mobility and how Autodesk can help designers in meeting their objectives?
Yeah, I think I've shared two examples, Mayank, in my slide in my deck. One was Pix Moving. So Pix Moving did they create
The chassis.
sort of a Pixbot chassis using generative design technology, which was both functional and flexible, and it is scalable. So you can actually design so many other things. So this is like inspired from nature, because the chassis is not the regular chassis, but it is inspired from the nature, the trees, and the lot of stuff. The second example that I shared was the Lightning motorcycle swing arm, where the swing arm was designed using generative design technology and 3D printed. And that actually also gave a very organic, very rustic, very sort of a skeletal feel, which appealed to many bike owners, because they want to differentiate their product. And this another is an example of nature-based inspiration. Right now, I think if you look into the automotive designs of uh, any vehicles, or any designs of any vehicles, you'll find a lot of inspiration. Designers are taking a lot of inspiration from nature going forward.
Sure. And with that, we have completely run out of time. Mr. Gupta, thank you very much for such a lovely presentation, and really appreciate your wide knowledge on the subject on automotive design, and what trends to look out for. And I'm sure our audience would have a lot of takeaways from this session. And we look forward to doing such more of such webinars and online engagements in the future as well. So thank you
Sure.
very much, everyone, for joining, and thank you very much, Mr. Gupta.
Thank you. Thank you.